Welcome to today's webinar on strategic leadership. My name is Vishala. I work for the Academic Solutions at Varthana. Thank you everyone for joining this webinar. Moving ahead, let us look at today's agenda. Today's agenda consists of introduction and session objectives. We will discuss a bit about the characteristics of a strategic leader. We will also discuss about the various stages of strategy formulation and implementation along with some of the tools. Then finally, we will have the session open up for questions and feedback. So I would request everyone to be participative and interactive throughout the session. We have a lot of polls and discussion questions. Request all of you to take part in it and share your valuable opinions and your points of view during those discussion questions. It will help all of us to gain more perspectives. Also, if you wish to say something, you can either type it in the Q&A chat box, or if you raise your hand, we can unmute you and you can also say it on the microphone. So once again, request you all to be very, very participative and interactive through the session. Moving on with today's session, let's talk about the objectives that we will be covering through the webinar today. One is all the participants will be able to understand what is strategic leadership and what needs to be done and how it has to be carried over. And the second objective is they will be able to look at different tools, different strategies that can help them to reach their school vision or objectives very easily. So let's have the first discussion question here. What comes to your mind when you think of a strategic leader? There is no right or wrong answer. Please let me know what you think when strategic leader comes. What comes to your mind when you say strategic leader? Waiting for responses. Please write it on Q&A chat box if you have any responses, or you can raise your hand. We can unmute you. I can see two hands have been raised. One is Deepak and one is Sanju. We shall unmute you, sir. If you wish to speak, you can just give us what idea you have about strategic leadership. Yeah, some people have said creative mind. Dr. Srividya is saying creative mind. When we say strategic leader, creative mind comes to her thought. And Ashokan sir is saying decision making, and Merlin is saying the ability to influence others, appropriate planning within time frame. Yeah, yes, all of these are something that all of us think of when we talk about strategic leadership. Somebody who is able to manage everyone in a setup, who is able to come up with new ideas and plans by Shraddha. Tasneem ma'am is saying appropriate planning with time frame, very, very important, with time frame. Yes. So yes, coming back to the webinar, all of these are very, very valid answers. Let us see what theory also says about this, what research also says about this. A strategic leader, like ma'am said, will be balancing a lot of things with lot of success also, because they have a plan, they have thought about it strategically, so they are usually successful. A strategic leader is an explorer. They are innovative, they keep exploring for new things. Why? Because they are always in pursuit of improvement of their school. They are never satisfied with what is happening right now. They want to be two notches above, two stages above everyone else in the community or every other school. They look at other schools and they always want to be ahead of them. So typically what happens is school leaders, when they come to school on a regular day, they're caught up with so many things like routine work. Maybe some parents are waiting to meet them. Maybe there is some emergency in the school which they have to attend to. There is there is some education department people who have come, or the school leader also might have some work related to some office or something, and they get caught up with all of these things. However, research says a strategic leader typically spends only 80% of their time doing routine work, whereas the rest 20% of their working time they set aside to think and lead strategically. Let us see how they do this and why it is required. Why strategic leadership is required in schools? Why do you think strategic leadership is required in schools? This is a question to the audience. You want to answer? You can put it on the chat box. Why strategic leadership is required in school? Okay, let us see why it is required. I haven't received any responses so far. So let me tell you. The first and foremost, school is a dynamic environment where new students come, new teachers come, old students leave, old teachers leave, new parents are coming. So a lot of things, even the external environment is changing. The school has to keep upgrading itself. So it is a dynamic environment. And if the school leader is thinking in the same old fashioned way, it will not work. They have to keep coming up with new strategies so that they keep at the top.
Vishala, sorry to interrupt. Can you please check the chat box?
Sure. Thank you. Yeah, I think I've received some more responses. Yeah, Dr. Srividya is saying to make children think and innovate. Very well, ma'am. Very valid. Yes, it is required. Could be to execute plans. Yes, strategic leadership is required to execute plans because they're future oriented. Yes, they're always thinking forward. Situations are dynamic. Very well. I think that is what we are discussing right now. To promote innovation for better working of school. They have evidence-based and research-led practices. Well, very, very valid. Otherwise, everything will be haywire. School will not move forward. Yes, because so many things are changing in the school scenario, and everything is not in our control. There are some things which can be controlled. There are some things which cannot be controlled. So, having a strategic leadership at the top will help the school to come back on track, or to lead the school in the track that the school leader wants to take it. So that's how strategic leadership is needed in a dynamic school environment. 21st century schools, we all know how fast technology is changing, how fast teaching learning processes are changing. The kind of students that come now are so much technically you know, they are so sharp, they grasp things so easily, and uh, it is very, very required for the schools also to align with that same kind of vision, mission and goals which is relevant to the 21st century. Hence all your planning, all that has to also change. How you approach things, everything should change. And futuristic approach, we all know that today's students who are studying in the school will go for a job 20 years later. But when they're studying in the school, are they getting whatever is required for them 20 years later? Are they getting those kind of skills? I'm not saying we know everything what is required after 20 years, but definitely we can foresee some of the things and we can inculcate it in the school. That is why strategic leadership is very, very important in schools. Now that we have seen why it is needed and what kind of school leader is called as a strategic leader, let us see what kind of characteristics they exhibit. Typically, um, I want to ask you all one question here. I'll be casting a poll in some time. But coming to the characteristics, keep in mind these characteristics, because later when I ask you to cast for a poll, you might need the answers from here. So the characteristics of a strategic leader, he or she always strives for improvement. Like ma'am said, Dr. Srividya ma'am said, they have to be innovative or they have to be ahead. So they are always striving for improvement. For that, they always prioritize their own thinking and learning. Like I said in the beginning, they set aside 20% of their working time only to think strategically, plan, research, and everything. So, in a typical 5 days of the working week, one day should be specifically set aside only for research, planning, looking at what the competition is doing, what are the opportunities for us, is there something that I can do which nobody has tried, can I do some more research on that. These things have to be accomplished in that 20% of the time. So they prioritize their own thinking and learning, that is researching and how they come up with the strategies. They also create mental models of their understanding. When I say mental models, now they know that these are some of the things that I can try out with my school. How does it look from a financial point of view? How does it look like from a parent's perspective? Will parents like this? How does it look like from a teacher's perspective? Will the teachers be capable? Will they welcome this kind of a plan? Will it be a success? Will it contribute to the students' learning? All of these things, they create mental models. So that is one of the main characteristic because it requires a lot of creativity to be able to do this. They have powerful personal and professional network. Yes, they invest a lot of time and effort in creating these networks, which they feel is one of the asset for them. So they attend lot of seminars. They may go and become part of associations, and they will try to gather lot of information from different people. So they have very powerful personal and professional network. These are four main characteristics of a strategic leader. Now, what do they do? I just, strategic leaders, they set a direction. They formulate vision, mission, and goals for the school. And based on these vision, mission, and goals, they create strategies to reach the vision and mission. That's why they translate all these strategies into action. First, they scan the environment, then formulate strategies. I'll just go one step after the other. Maybe we dive deep into it in the upcoming slides. They will also enable their staff to develop and deliver the strategy. They have understood very well they can't do everything on their own. They need an army of like-minded people who believe in the same vision and who are equally invested in this strategy. So they will enable the staff to develop this kind of strategy. They determine effective intervention points. What do we mean by this? They periodically assess whatever they are doing, and maybe there are times when they should not continue doing it, but out of love, because they started it, they don't want to end it. It becomes a waste of effort, waste of resource and time. So a strategic leader knows very well when to stop and not continue with a project which is not giving them rewards. At the same time, if something is giving them rewards, they will continue doing it and maybe add some more value to it by bringing in more research or more thought into it. So at what time they have to move out, at what time they have to introduce something, these kind of specific points, they are very well aware where they want to intervene. And then they also develop strategic capabilities among the team. They very well know that each time they cannot be there to guide the team, but if they create a team who can also think strategically, every time the dependence is not there on the leader and the team can do it themselves, which is very, very useful in the long run. If the team also starts thinking in the same way. So that is what they do. Strategic leaders do all of these things. Any Any questions so far? Have you been able to follow? If there are any questions, let me know on the chat box. There are no questions. Let's move on. Here, I'll be playing a video. The video does not have any audio, but it has graphics which you can be able to read. So don't mind if there is no audio, because it's only background music and nothing else. So that was a small video just to understand what are the different stages in strategy.
Vishala, there are a couple of queries on the chat box. Can you just...
Yeah, I'll go there. Thank you, Nero. Voices, no audio. Yeah, ma'am. That's what I said in the beginning of the video also. There won't be any sound because it does not have any words, but it's only some music. So no worries, ma'am. I'll be casting a poll, like we had discussed what are the different characteristics of a strategic leader. Just want to know what you prioritize. Cast your vote. 21 people have voted, and some of them have said innovator, some have said researcher, some have said visionary. Yes. Thank you for voting. Let's move to the stages of strategy formulation and implementation. Here again, have different stages in the strategy formulation and implementation. Let's look at what are all the different stages one by one, so that it will be easy for us to implement it back in the school. The first one is setting strategic objectives and doing the analysis. What is it? What are the strategic objectives? It is nothing but our vision and mission and the sub goals that we set to reach the vision and mission. How do we do the analysis? Like we saw in the video also, we use the tools like SWOT and PESTLE. The next stage in the strategy formulation is this actual strategic formulation, where you come up with different plans, and you also see if all the resources that are required are in place. Then comes the strategic implementation. In this, you will also see if any additional training is required for the team, or if the team is already capable to do this to start the implementation. Then you delegate. Like I said, the strategic leader can't do everything on their own. So you pick some of the people who can also co-lead with you. Then there is strategic evaluation and control. Now we have objectives, we have come up with plans, and we are implementing. We also need to keep a track whether these strategies are going in the same track, or do we need to make some changes. So you have to constantly evaluate at different points and see if there has to be any corrections made to it. So these are the 4 stages of strategy formulation. So I want to again ask in the poll, I want to ask a poll again here. What, according to you, is the first stage in strategy making? We saw there are 4 stages. Which one do you think is the first stage? We have got maximum people saying strategic objectives. Yes, formulation of a strategic objective is the first stage. Until we have an objective, we cannot formulate a plan. So yes, whoever said the strategic objectives is following the webinar. Let's move on to looking at each stage in the strategic formulation and implementation. So here, what do we mean by a mission statement? Mission statement tells whoever is looking at the mission statement, it will tell who we are and what do we value, what kind of core values we have, and what kind of mission are we into, right? This mission will again give rise to the vision statement. What do we want to become in the long term? In the long run, where do we want to see our school? With these values, where do we want to see the school going? The strategy will be the approach that we will take to realize the vision or achieve the vision. And then goals and objectives are what we break down the strategy into. And at every point, we keep seeing how much have we progressed, what else we need to do. So these are the mission statement, vision statement, strategy, and goals and objectives. Now, I want to put forward a question to you. Do you have a vision statement for your school? If yes, please share it in the chat box. Shukan sir is saying they have a vision statement. Dr. Srividya's vision statement is explore to establish. Very nice, ma'am. Very short and sweet. Yes. So I hope we can move on. I will show you some vision mission examples and the underlying philosophy why these vision and mission were formulated for a particular school. Let's come to this first example where it says vision is a community where all children feel loved, respected, and encouraged to develop to their fullest potential. And here in the mission, they also talk about high quality education, childcare in a safe, respectful, and inclusive environment, which builds a foundation for lifelong learning. So here, the underlying philosophy is overall development of the student and social and emotional needs that the student may have. So that is their underlying philosophy, which help them to create the vision and mission. Let us look at a second example. Here, it's a Steiner School's vision and mission. Mostly, Steiner schools have a philosophy of empathy, responsibility, and relationship with nature. Humans and nature form a bond, according to them, and they also believe in hands, heart, and head. That is, children should use their hands to learn, heart to feel, and a head to think. So this is their underlying philosophy, and vision and mission for their school also mirrors the same thing. Example number 3 is this is a school which is run by Sisters of a Convent for girls. This was a school started in around 100 to 150 years ago. And at that time, there was no gender equality. Women were not allowed to study beyond a certain age. They were not allowed to go and work outside. So this was the kind of social scenario then. And at that time, the sisters of this convent came up with a mission. They wanted to educate young women. They wanted to make them so much capable that they would go out into the society and hold the same kind of jobs that men did, achieve as many things as possible, whether it is in sports, academics, science, everything. So their mission reflects the philosophy that women deserve a rightful place in the society, and school plays a vital role in molding them. And this is the philosophy behind it. Talking about the fourth example, this comes from a religious background school, which believes in the thing called Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. That is, every individual is part of a larger family, and everyone has a role to play in it. So everyone have to be empowered. So this is the philosophy behind the mission of Sharda Vidya Mandir. These are 4 different examples. Hope you were able to see how the philosophy can help you to create your vision and mission, because vision and mission is nothing but it tells who we are, what our values are, what are our core values, what do we want to become. All of this can be explained through a school vision and mission.
There are a couple of responses to acknowledge for the previous question. Kindly look at it.
Thanks, Nero. I'll do that. Education to real world is one of the vision mission statements by Somshekhar sir. The school will be technically sound. Okay. I want to become a building structure. Every child, mission and education. Okay. Someone is saying Hindi language. Sorry, sir. But I'll do that. Okay, not many responses here for me to respond to. So we will get back to the webinar here. We saw how vision and mission will give a direction to the school. Whatever the school strongly believes in, whatever values and beliefs they have strongly, that will be their vision and mission. And for to achieve this vision and mission, how can we use strategies? Now, to use a strategy, we should not only know where we want to go, but we also need to know where we are currently and what else has to be done. So to do that, we have tools like SWOT analysis. Here I want to ask a question. Has anyone among the audience used SWOT analysis in their schools to understand their current position in the schools? Has anyone used SWOT analysis in their school? Please respond on the Q&A chat section. There are some hands that have raised. Dakshini ma'am, I'll unmute you. Please let us know if you have anything to say. Okay, Dakshini ma'am lowered their hand. Okay. Dakshini ma'am, do you want to say anything? Have you used SWOT analysis in your school? Okay, I think Deepak sir, Rajesh sir, and Sanju sir have had their hand up from a very long time, but they're not speaking. So let me move on to the webinar. I don't think anyone.
There are a couple of responses.
Some of them have said that they have used it for teachers. One Bimlesh sir is saying no. Shobna Prakash ma'am said I have used for my teachers. Ma'am, do you wish to say for what you have used and was it useful for you? Shraddha ma'am is saying used it to assess students. Sohail sir also has said that they have used it. Does Sohail sir or Shobna ma'am want to say more about it? Yeah. Sohail sir, I shall unmute you if you can raise your hand, then I can unmute you, sir. Use the hand raise option in the. Yes. Yes, Sohail sir. Please go ahead.
You have to
So you
unmute
want
yourself before you can speak.
So you have to unmute yourself. Okay.
Am I audible now?
Yes, sir. You're audible, sir.
So we had used this SWOT analysis while before opening our school. We did a research of our schools nearby, tried to understand what kind of fees they have, what kind of strength they have, what kind of USP they have in terms of giving services, what kind of curriculum do they follow, and so on. So we did this SWOT analysis initially before we opened the school there. What is their average fee and so on.
Okay, so you did SWOT analysis for other schools?
No, in order to open our school, in order to understand the positioning of our school, we did SWOT analysis of other schools so that SWOT analysis of our school could be prepared.
Very well, sir. Very well.
Yes.
That is, I hope, so you don't need much introduction. This is something that you have already done. But
Yeah.
let me quickly take everyone through what a SWOT analysis is, because we might have people who haven't yet used it. So SWOT analysis is a tool that helps by providing information, like Sohail sir said. You can understand about your own environment in the school if your school is already running, or if you want to start a school, you can understand about what trends there are in the market, what can you do to reach that level, or what can you do to go ahead of your competitors and all of that. So it actually helps you to understand your own strengths and weaknesses, what opportunities you have, what threats you have, what is the core competencies in the school, etc. So it's nothing but scanning the environment. Now you have your vision and mission. You know where your vision is. You have to achieve that vision in the long term. But do you have the necessary environment? Do you have the necessary things in your school to make a plan and go forward with the plan? To do that, you need to do a analysis. SWOT is one of the tool to do it. So in a school, you have some internal things and you have some external variables. There are internal variables where you know that within the school there are some things that keep changing, or that some things that can influence, and there are external things. There are some favorable things, that is something which is favoring the school. There are some things which are unfavorable. So there can be a combination of all these four things. The first one, which is internal and favorable, are the strengths. What is going right for the school? What are you doing that is actually giving you lot of good results, or which is beneficial to the school? So these become the strength for your school. Then comes the weakness. What is holding the school back? Like there can be some things which will not allow you to progress. So what are these things? What are these weaknesses which is holding the school back? You can analyze those things. You can just sit down, reflect, and do it. Or you can do a survey, like Sohail sir said. You can do a survey, you can do a research, and you can jot down the school weaknesses, so that it will help you to overcome. Many times what happens is you want to avoid looking at the weaknesses, or you don't even want to attempt to see if there are any weakness in the school, or you deny the fact that everything is going well in my school, I don't have any weakness. But a strategic leader is someone who will embrace to understand if there are any weaknesses, because only if they understand and overcome that weakness, they can move a notch further. So a strategic leader is always looking for these kind of things. Is there some loophole? How can I fill it? So that is why it becomes very important. We should embrace the weaknesses also. That is when we can grow. Then comes the opportunities. Like Sohail sir said, they were seeing what USP other schools have, what are parents looking for, which no other school is offering, but becomes an opportunity for me. If I give what parents are actually looking for and no other school is doing, then my school becomes the first option for parents. Then come the threats. Like sir said, there was a lot of competition around him. He wanted to see what kind of competition it is, what are different things that the schools are doing differently, which is not there in his own school. So is it a threat? Can I, flip this threat into an opportunity? If you leave it like that, threat remains like a threat. But if you work on that threat, it can become an opportunity for you. Otherwise, it will remain like a weakness. So this SWOT analysis can help to understand your school's current position. Now you have your vision and mission goals set because you had a philosophy, you had a strong belief, you made vision and mission. Now you are doing a SWOT analysis to understand the loopholes. There is another kind of tool which is called as the pestle analysis. Here you scan the political environment of your school. What kind of administrative concerns are there in the school, whether it is operations or decisions, what kind of political environment is there, what kind of economical environment is there, does the school have enough budget or enough cash flow to be sustainable, what are the economic constraints for students, is my fees a barrier for more students to come in, what can I do, can I all of these things will come from your economical environment scan. Then comes the social scan, where you are also looking at the well-being of your staff and students, whether it is physical or mental well-being, are because if they are not physically or mentally well, then they cannot perform to their full potential. Therefore, if you want to reach a goal, it will not be faster, it will actually slow down. So this can be one of the filters that you can use to see if the social condition of the school, social well-being of your stakeholders are in the right place. Then comes the technological. Do I have enough technological capability in the school to cater to 21st century students? Are my teachers capable enough? Do I have enough infrastructure to support all of this? This will be your technological scan. Then comes the legal issues. Are all the permissions in place? Are all the licenses in place? Do I have the necessary registrations? All of this come into legal considerations. Because only when all of these are in its rightful place, then you can start conducting your day-to-day activities smoothly. Then comes the environmental. Not just the physical environment of your school, not just the culture of your school, but is the school making enough efforts to preserve the actual natural environment? Is the school making an effort to increase the intergenerational awareness about the environment? When I say intergenerational, it means not just the students, not just the teachers in your school are aware about the environmental issues, but are they carrying it back to their families? Are they also educating their parents, grandparents, cousins, uncles and aunts? Because this also becomes very important in the 21st century. So pestle analysis is also a tool for you to understand your environment and take necessary action so that your strategies can be successful. The second stage in strategic formulation and implementation is the strategic formulation itself. When we say strategic formulation, there are various stages of this formulation, which is also called as planning. Strategic formulation is nothing but strategic planning. Here you determine goals. I've also given an example, and this goal can be broken down further into smaller goals with a proper timelines. You have to determine timelines within which you have to complete each of the goals. So I've even given some examples. You can just glance through it. And then comes the identifying the resources. What resources do we need so that we can accomplish these goals or achieve these goals within this timeline? This is the basic strategic formulation that you do. This comes in the second stage. And what do we mean by goals? What is strategy? What is objective and tactics? Aren't they the same? Some people use them interchangeably, but they are not so. Let me explain to you. A goal is a broad primary outcome, right? And then a strategy is the approach you take to achieve this goal. Objective is a measurable step to achieve the strategy. Okay, you have a big strategy, but then you have smaller objectives and goals. It is a measurable step. Within this time, or within this time, I will have 5 teachers trained. That will be your objective. And a tactic. What tactic are you using, or what tool are you using to reach this objective? So any questions so far? Am I going too fast, too slow? Please let me know in the chat box. If you have any questions, please let me know. I don't see any questions coming up. So I presume it is safe to move ahead. Going into the stage 3 of strategic implementation. Stage 3 is nothing but implementation stage. First, we created a vision mission. We scanned the environment and we also had the plan in place. Plan what timeline and what resources we need. Now comes the implementations part. Here, sorry. Here you can implement all by yourself, or you can delegate responsibilities. Example, you can make smaller heads, leads who can lead different part of the task. Then you can train the resources if required. That also comes in this stage. So when you do a SWOT analysis or a pestle analysis, you will also understand how many people in my team are capable right away, how many people I need to train to bring them to the capability that I require. So you can train the resources if required. Then communicating clear strategic goals to the stakeholders. This is a very, very important step, because you may have planned for something because of your own research, your analysis using SWOT and pestle, you would have come up with something, but it is equally important for you to articulate it in such a way that everyone else on the team understands it the same way that you have understood. Because if you have understood in two different ways, you cannot reach the objective in a proper way. So communicating clear strategic goals to the stakeholders, why you're doing this, what is the reason we have to do this, what is the reason we have to do it only this way and not the other way. So these things become very important for you to communicate. And communicating the timelines and deliverables, we have to communicate all these things with the stakeholders so that everything will run smoothly. If any one person or any one division, any one team has not understood this properly, things may go haywire. So during the implementation, even before you implement, these are some of the things that you have to keep in mind. And during implementation also, constantly we need to motivate and support the teams. Here, your main role would be to oversee the entire thing. If you have delegated everything, your main role will be to see if all the teams are doing what is required. Is there anything that can be improved? If there is any team that is slow, you need to push them, you need to motivate them, need to appreciate and recognize, which will help them to perform better. So all these things happen in the strategic implementation stage. I can in this only you can, we spoke about identifying resources, who is capable, who need to be trained and all. Let us use a metrics here to understand if the people that we have chosen for a certain task, are they ready for that task, or is there anything that we can do? So we are considering two variables here. One is the willingness of the person, and the other is the skill they come with. So the first quadrant here talks about high will and low skill. These are people who are high on will, that is, they're highly motivated, but they don't have the necessary skill set, right? What can we do? They're already high on motivation. So what we can do is give them some more skills or train them on some of the skills, and they're ready for the job. Then we have the second quadrant, which is talking about people who are highly motivated and who are highly skilled also. How can we use them here? Give them leadership opportunities, make them the lead for a team or something like that. They can take the team also along with them, they can guide them and they can mentor them. Next quadrant is the low will and low skill. Here these people are low on motivation, they are low on the skill set also. Usually they are people who have come newly to a job, they haven't had much experience. So you need to boost their motivation and also provide them with some coaching and training. Then comes the fourth quadrant, which is people who are not motivated. They're highly skilled, but somehow they are not motivated. So what we can do is we can motivate them and also give them a challenging job or a challenging task which they have never done before. They will be quick in adapting to it. They will be quick in learning because they have that skill in them. They can adapt very quickly to these new roles, and they can overcome the challenge. This will motivate them to perform better. So this is one of the metrics or a tool, you can say. You can use this to identify your key resources, who can be delegated what work. to identify that, you can use this. I'm also taking you through this tool, which can be used for strategic planning, which is called as the Gantt chart. Here you can extensively plan your strategy. You can create goals, sub goals. Hope you can see this chart here. Here, what you can do is you can, so this will be one of the objective, training the staff, assess training needs, identify resources, identify resource people, implement training. All of these are the tasks that you need to do in order to achieve the training the staff objective. Here you can also put who is in charge of each of these tasks. You can also mention the time or date it starts and when it ends, how many days are there, is the task completed or not. All of this you can monitor on this sheet. I will also share a copy of this sheet in the handout template later. Here you can keep adding the different training the staff is one thing, and maybe you can add parent engagement as one of the objective. High parent engagement. For that, what are all the different tasks you want to put? You can think strategically and add all of this. This is a very good tool for you to plan your strategy and start implementing it. When the implementation starts, then you can keep a track of the implementation also. So this is one of the tool which can help you in strategic implementation. Then comes the final stage, which is strategic evaluation. Before that, I would want to know if you have any questions. Bimlesh is saying Dakshayani ma'am is a big name in educational policies and strategy and planning. Yes, I don't know if it is the same Dr. Dakshayani Khanna who is here with us today. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yeah, tell me, sir.
I just wanted to know the action for course correction. Say, initially you said the SWOT analysis to an extent mostly done, and secondly the plan, yes. And if something is wrong, the course correction is will that be also discussed on that?
Right now, nothing, sir. You have to keep evaluating. I will talk about how to monitor your progress. At that time, maybe it will answer your question. If it still doesn't answer your question, we can take it up in the end, sir.
Okay. So any kind of the reports will be shared. So probably that would be helpful to us to
Yes,
look.
not report actually. I will share school's strategy map with you. That can give you a huge overall picture of how a school can, plan. So just a little patience, sir. I'll go there in about 2-3 slides. Will be there.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Vishala, can you just check your chat box once?
Yeah, I'm looking at it, Niro. Thank you. Ma'am, what we do for our teachers that they work like a company target. This is Sanju sir is asking. So you can have, like I will come, I will talk more about different strategies, sir. Maybe it will answer your question. If it still doesn't answer, we'll take it up, sir. Should be mission in product. I didn't quite get this, Amit Kumar sir. Funding should be mission in product development. Okay, funding should also be a strategy in product development is what you see. I understand it correctly. Aryan sir, you're asking, please share the previous slide. We will be sharing a lot of things on the handout, sir. It might have all that you require. We will be sharing this by Monday. Yes. The defining what is what. Yeah, everything will be shared with you, sir. How can we help people in third quadrant? Third quadrant usually have people who are new to the work. So what you can do is give them more smaller experiences, or you can put them with experienced people so they can learn some of the skills from them, or you can directly give them some training. And you have to keep motivating them because they're also low on will. So that is how we can help. Much time should be given to quadrant 3 people? It depends, sir. Definitely depends on what is the task at hand and how fast you want to achieve. Before that, you need to train these people and give them the task. So as soon as possible, sir. Okay, so we come to end of these Q&As for now. Going to strategic evaluation. Sir said if there is something that needs course correction, what do we do? So here we come to evaluation of the strategy or the plan and implementation. We have to constantly monitor and review the process, check implementation and challenges to it. So when we are implementing, there will be unintended obstacles, something which we have not thought of before, which was not planned for, it might come in between, right? For example, you are planning to get your school to a certain stage. Like I want to be the first school, which is the first option for all the parents, and you're implementing one strategy. Suddenly there is a obstacle to it. Now, when you're monitoring it continuously, it will not escape your eye. You can immediately course correct it and bring it back on track. This can happen only if you're monitoring. Like I said, a strategic leader should not dip his hands and feet everywhere, but delegate it to the other teams so that they can keep monitoring everything. Their only work after planning, once the plan is made, once the strategy plan is made, timelines put, and the tasks are delegated, the strategic leader has to keep monitoring all the processes. Is it going in the right way? Is someone going wrong? Where can we correct it? So this becomes the continuous monitoring and review. The other is the monitoring and review of the impact. Impact is whenever an objective, whenever you finish a task, you see, were we successful? We finished the task, but did we get the desired results? Is it 100% of what we thought of, or it still needs more work? So this can help you, this monitoring can help you for the next task. Maybe we can do it differently. So this will not be a continuous one. This will be the evaluation you do at the end of a task. Whereas the process or implementation is a continuous evaluation. Then comes the outcome. After all the tasks, after all the 4 or 5 tasks that you set out to achieve, did the outcome come? Are you seeing the outcome that you desired for? Is it not there? What can we do? Overall evaluation. Okay, once you finish the entire project or implementation and you have got some desired results, then you think, okay, this has worked for me. Can I use this as a framework for future? Maybe next time I want to do the same thing for primary teachers. Can I use the same framework? So in this way, you have to monitor and review the progress continuously. Creating metrics and rubrics for each of the parameters for effective evaluation is important. Unless you have, okay, I had to do first standard classroom observation. Have I done it or not? Was it effective or not? So for all of these, you need parameters and rubrics. This in itself will become a huge webinar, so we are not including it here. If you are interested to know about these things, please mention it in the feedback form. We can definitely arrange for a webinar on the same, creating metrics and rubrics for evaluation. Do you have any questions so far, or can we move? I don't see any questions so far. So let me move to the next one. This is a sample impact evaluation tracker. Here you can see the first one is the performance objective. What is the performance objective that that as a strategic leader you have put it here? Improving pedagogical skills among primary and high school teachers. Okay, you have seen that to improve student learning, you have to train your teachers for pedagogical skills. So you have a coordinator who is taking care of the training for the teachers. Now, between February and March, you want to finish this training and maybe test the teachers before the training starts and after the training starts. What before the training has started, it is called as the actual percentage of teachers who are proficient in the classroom observation and classroom management techniques. You can see in the February column. In the actual column, you can see this is the percentage of teachers for each of these sub-parameters, how much they are proficient. Once you finish the training, then you make an assessment again, but you have a target of to achieve 50% proficiency among the teachers. When you do a test, you will find that in the first parameter, the teachers are 54% proficient. 54% of teachers are proficient, which is higher than your target. So you have colored it in green. Coming to the next sub-parameter, out of all the teachers, the target is 50% teachers should get the proficiency, but only 40% have achieved the proficiency. However, 40% is higher than their baseline score, which is 36%. So it is not entirely not worked. It has worked to a certain extent, but not to the extent that you have planned for. So you might have to do some more work here. So in this way, you can have a simple impact evaluation tracker. Even to come up to this score, you should have rubrics. What are all the things the teacher needs to do so that I can get a score for the teacher? So that rubrics and metrics we can discuss in the webinar. If you request, we can surely have that webinar again. So this is one of the sample impact evaluation tracker. So just like what I said, we can have strategies and everything. We can also have an entire strategy map for the school. It cannot just have student improvement plan. It can have teacher improvement plan. It can have school culture and stuff like that. And you can create a strategy map. Just like what you saw in the video, IKEA had a strategy map. And everything can keep happening simultaneously in the school. You can start rolling out different strategies at the same time. You can start implementing and just keep monitoring them. Only thing is the strategic plan has to be in place. For example, like I said, student achievement scores. If you want to have increase in student achievement scores, what are all the different things that you have to backward plan? Then you have to create exemplary or excellent faculty in your school. what are all the different things that you need to do. Here you can see if there is an excellent faculty, it can also contribute to the student achievement scores. Then you can also have a strategy for positive school culture, infusing positive school culture. Here again, it is impacting the excellent faculty, and it can also impact the student achievement scores. Then having IT infrastructure. Everything is in digital. Now you want to have an excellent IT infrastructure in your school because you want your school to be number one. You have all of these strategies, but all of these strategies also need some goals, right? You can't just jump. You can't just do one thing and you say student achievement is there, or you have your students have highest achievement scores. There is not one thing, but there are a series of things that you need to do. So what are the different things that we can do? Improve foundational math, improve English language proficiency, board exam preparation. For each of these sub goals, again, you can have a strategy. How do you improve foundational math? Can you have teachers being trained on that? Can you invite guest faculty to do this? What could be my strategy? So each of these sub goals can also have a strategy. So for exemplary faculty or creating excellent faculty in your school, what could be some of the sub goals for you, according to you? Can I have some responses here? If you want to create excellent faculty in your school, what are all the sub goals that you need to take care of, or how do you break it down into sub goals? Yeah, improve communication skills amongst teachers by Sohail sir. Very good, sir. So good communication by Rani's International. It's almost the same response. Updating and upgrading the teachers. Yes, giving them training on different things. Sharing of ideas. Very good. Venkhom is saying sharing of ideas. Very good. We give him monthly target. Okay. Very, very good responses here. I can see regular trainings and feedback by Bimlesh sir. Improving the skills of teachers. Sri Vidya ma'am also said something similar. Sumit Garg is also saying the same thing. Train them to be receptive. Awesome. Very, very nice responses here. Let us see if we have something similar. Yes, creating learning circle. Someone said sharing of ideas. So if you have a learning circle in school for teachers, they can share ideas among them and they can learn from each other. Capacity building, that is giving them training on different pedagogies and skills. Recognizing their work, giving them rewards. Then for positive school culture, what can we do? Ensure stakeholder wellness. That is, you take care of your teachers, you take care of your non-teaching staff. You also are very, very mindful about your students' well-being, be it physical or mental well-being. So ensuring stakeholder wellness, relationship among stakeholders. You build strong relationship bond with community, parents, your teachers should be free to come and talk to you. All of this is built into the positive school culture. Positive work environment. The teachers are happy to work there. So that's how you create a positive school culture. Then IT infrastructure, can't stress more about this. We need computer labs, computer trainers, encourage students to be innovative. All of these can be sub goals for each of your objectives, and everything put together becomes your strategy map. Not just this, you will also need how you will be evaluating this, who will be leading each of these sub goals, who are in each of the teams, what is their, each person's task and responsibility, within what time do they complete all these things. Everything will go into a school strategy map. Let me show you one sample map of a school. This is Richmond School, Richmond County School System. Their vision statement and mission statement is given here. And this is the school strategy map. I will just take you through how their strategy map looks like. So this is how their map looks like. See here, they have a strategic goal number 1 and performance objective A. Improve, the goal is student achievement and success. Objective is improve early literacy and numeracy skills. What is the first initiative they take? Increase professional knowledge for teachers. So in this way, they have built a strategic map. So everything is spelled out here. Increased professional knowledge for teachers for early literacy. Then you have the balanced scorecard. So as you see, strategic goal number 1, student achievement and success. Under that, what is the performance objective that I need to assess? Improve early literacy and numeracy skills. The first initiative in that is to increase professional knowledge for teachers for teaching early literacy and numeracy instruction. Step A is to identify effective practices. Second step B is align professional learning with effective literacy and numeracy practices. Establish model classrooms and classroom observation protocols. Provide professional learning and resources for target K3 teachers. Increase the pay for certified pre-K teachers to equal other teachers. So this is just for first strategic goal, first objective. This is the first initiative under that. Then you have the second initiative, provide equitable resources. So in this way, if you have created a plan, you need not be there at all. Whoever you have delegated to, they will start taking it from there. So in this way, you can create your plans extensively, and even for evaluating or monitoring and evaluation, you can have the balanced scorecards. Just the sample one which I showed you earlier. This school has a balanced scorecard for each and every goal. Here for strategic goal number 1, student achievement and success, they have a evaluation metrics, where red means no change or the scores have declined from previous test. Yellow means it is progressing, but it has not met the target. Green means it is meeting or exceeding the target. This is for strategic goal number 1. In the same way, they have for all the strategic goals. So in this way, if you plan and if you have metrics for everything, a school strategy map can be laid out even before the school year starts, and you can delegate all the different responsibilities to the capable people, and you can keep monitoring thereafter. If the plan is going in the way it has to go, is it meeting the standards? Do we have the outcome? All of that we can monitor in the subsequent days. So this is about the school strategy map, how you can create one for your own school, and how you can implement it. So do you have any questions so far? Has it been, were you able to follow what I said? Are there any questions or doubts? regarding whatever has been discussed so far? Okay, now I will ask one poll. Let me see. What different aspects of strategy implementation should be monitored continuously? Should we monitor impact continuously, or should we monitor implementation continuously? We have 23 out of 48 people who voted. 60% of them are saying implementation should be monitored continuously. Yes, implementation has to be monitored continuously. Impact can be measured only at the end. So we have to continuously monitor implementation. Well done. Do we have any questions? Okay, Srividya ma'am says no questions. So here we have almost covered what are the different characteristics the strategic leader displays, what are all the different stages that is required for strategic implementation in the school, how can we create a school strategy map, what goes into it, what are the different aspects we need to keep in mind, the resources, the plan, the timelines, all of that we have discussed so far. I would like to discuss a small case of a school here. Let us see if we can get more responses here. Do you have a strategy for your school? Please share with us. Any of you, have you had any strategy for your school? Have you ever had a strategy for your school? It need not be a strategy map like we saw. Maybe one strategy, one objective, and what kind of strategy you used. You may not know that this was stage 1, stage 2 like that, but you might have used it in your school, something to help you achieve or help you reach an objective. If you have anything like that, please share with all of us. We haven't had any responses, so let me move on with the webinar. We are almost at the end of it. Let us look at the case of a school where a school does a SWOT analysis, and the school has very good faculty, that is the strength, who is also creative. What is the weakness for the school? The enrollment of the school has come down in the last couple of years. What could be the opportunity for the school? The school can again become a most sought after school in the community. That is an opportunity. The threat is a new school in the community which is charging lower fees has come up. So this is the SWOT analysis of a school. Now, what kind of strategy can we use for this school? Do you have any ideas? Can you share any ideas for this school? Can anyone say what can be done?
There are a couple of questions. Once this case is done, kindly attend to it.
I've been seeing Niro. I don't know. By Sanju sir, there is one. Is that the one you're speaking about?
No, Vishala, there are a couple of more questions in the chat box. They wanted to, know. Can you check some of it by Bimlesh sir and Sharon Craig?
What time was this, Niro?
24.
Oh yeah, now it is coming to me. Yeah. Yes, we want to get fee just after the school began after Corona. Okay, that was the strategy. What strategy did you implement, sir? Bimlesh, sir? Okay, Sharon Craig is saying giving best activity-based education was their strategy to achieve a school goal. They used the strategy of activity-based education. We had a strategy to prepare employable citizens. What strategy was that, sir? Can you share if possible? Deepak, sir? Okay, Tasneem ma'am is saying not as of now. I plan to have English speaking as the main goal. Very good, ma'am. Explore different culture. What analysis? The school can rework the fee structure if possible. It has to offer best teaching learning techniques. Thank you so much, Shobana Parak, for these suggestions. A software like a company that helped me achieve the target. But ma'am, there is no software like this for a school. Please tell me if you have like this software. No, sir, there is no software for this. Even if you have a software, you have to input your observations. So you can do it manually also. Okay, Deepak sir is saying it has been documented in their school and they will share with us. Thank you so much, everyone, for being so interactive. Here we can do, the school can do two things. One is Shobana Parak ma'am also said to lower the fees. That can be one strategy. The other one can be give more value for whatever fees you're already charging. Now, probably you're charging 5,000 rupees and your competitor school is charging 3,000 rupees per year. Now, instead of lowering your fees, what you can do is add more value to whatever you're giving, right? So if you add value, then parents will feel that, okay, even if we have to pay extra amount, we are getting more from this school. So that can be one strategy. So thank you, Shobna ma'am, for giving me one strategy. Now we have two strategies. Let me show you what the school can do. Add something else along with their regular programs that can increase the enrollment for their school. Something called as the School Readiness Mela. This was a program conducted by the Pratham organization across all the Anganwadis and Balwadis in India, so that lot of students enroll into their Anganwadis. What was this? It was an activity-based assessment of a child between the age of 3 and 6. They are assessed for 5 foundational skills on literacy, numeracy, cognitive, socio-emotional skills, and physical skills. Now, after 2 months, you conduct this Mela again and do the same assessment. Now, there should be some improvement in the students. This is what the Mela is all about. Now, why should the school do this Mela? Through this Mela, you're attracting parents. And this is Mela which your competitor school has not thought about. But you're the first one in the community who is doing it. And parents of students who are 3 to 6 year old, they come to your school. They see what your teachers are doing, why you're so concerned about their education. All of that will add up and it will showcase your school in a good way. You can attract enrollment and you can also retain them for their primary grades if you're giving good value for the same money. How you can do? You can plan when to do this. When is the right time to do this Mela? Just when the parents are deciding which school they have to put their child into. Maybe around December, January, February, that is the time parents think. That is the strategic timeline you choose. Then you have to ascertain what kind of resources you need, what is a good mix of teachers? Who should lead this? How can you arrange for all the materials for assessment? How can you arrange the mela? How can you market this mela? How can more people in the community come to your school? Spread that word of mouth spreading can also be done. You can offer discounts. All of these are tactics for the strategy. Now, school readiness mela is the strategy, and all the different things that you are doing, marketing, reduction of fees, word of mouth publicity, all of these are the tactics that you are using to achieve your strategy. So this is how you can plan your objective, create a strategic plan, and use tactics to achieve this. So here we will just revise from the beginning. We spoke about strategic leadership. Who is a strategic leader? What do they do? What are the characteristics of a strategic school leader? What are the different stages of strategic formulation and implementation? What is a strategy map? How can you use it to build a strategy for your school so that you can realize your vision? Your vision may be for a long-term plan within 5 years or 10 years. But to reach there, you should have successive strategic plans. So how do you do that? So we have discussed all of these things. We have discussed about the tools like Gantt chart, school strategy map, skill and will metrics, pestle analysis tool, SWOT analysis tool. So all of this we have discussed. I'll be sharing all of these in a handout with you. All I want you to do is just stay with us for a couple of minutes more, where I talk about Unlock School program from Varthana. These are English and Math, foundational literacy and numeracy books for students from grade 1 to 8 who have had learning loss during COVID. You can use this as a remedial or a bridge course book to bring them back on track. We have used learning objectives across 3 grades. If the student is in grade 5, the student will be learning from grade 3, 4, and 5. So all learning objectives are covered for that student in Math and English. So this is Unlock School program. Then we have Smart Fee program where schools can utilize this program to collect fees, where they don't have to directly collect it from the parents. Varthana will provide a platform where parents will every month pay fees to Varthana, but Varthana will be paying the school at one shot or in 3 tranches at once, so that they will have working capital in bulk. They need not wait every month for the parents to pay, but they will get 50% of the fees at the beginning of the school year, then 25% after 3 months, and 25% 3 months after. So they can have a bulk amount and use it as their working capital. So these are 2 programs that Varthana has come up with to help the school leaders address learning loss as well as the fee collection. If you are interested, you can email us at hello@varthana.com or contact us on 080-684-55777. So here we come to the end of this webinar. Thank you all again for joining this webinar and being very participative. Thanks from Varthana again.